Hello everyone and welcome back to another ACC video. It's been a while, I know, but we're back and we're back for some competition races. And I've done a couple of videos on competition races on ACC, but I really love them. They are really fun. You know, the attendance isn't massive for these races, and there's 11 people here, but I find the best players and the most clean players to race against are in these lobbies. So yeah, we're going to give them a go once more. So here, first lap at Imola. It's going to be a 45-minute race with a mandatory pit stop. We're going to try and set a benchmark time here, get our name on the board somewhere. But yeah, qualifying is pretty important for these competition races because you want to be at the sharp end, try and fight with the quickest guys to probably potentially have the best race you can, and you're going to see some really good races in this video. This one was very close. And the pace of people in here are very quick as well. So yeah, I might have a bit of a challenge on my hand as well. As you can see, coming down into the very tricky section of Imola, I find, going down the hill and up towards this infamous chicane. See if we can get on those curbs. Yeah, not bad, using all the yellow on the inside of the second apex. And so they're coming down the hill. Missed our apex a little bit, so that'll cost time a little bit. See what time we set first. It's probably not likely to be our quickest lap. It ends up being a 44.3, which puts us first at the start, and then we drop down to third. We do a 44.0, so the temperature is pretty hot, so I'm not able to get into the 43s just yet. Let's see if we can improve a bit more. It's definitely possible to get into a time like that for sure. Only a minute or so left in qualifying, so this is probably our only chance of that now. See you getting all the traction in second gear, the car's squirring just a little bit. There's a yellow flag, but that doesn't apply to us. You can see we're already quite a chunk of time up, about 10th and a half, just through the first sector. So this is looking to be on for a 43 of some kind, but I have to see where it puts us, and I believe the two other guys in first and second are also independently like me, so this is clearly a good car and track combo. You see coming through the very tricky downhill section, we managed to nail that. Very easy to invalidate your lap time there as well if you use too much curb. Braking at the end of the curve there for the chicane. We go a little bit deep, but it was not too bad. We get a fairly good exit. And you see we're improving by a huge amount of time now. So this is going to definitely be a 43 or some kind if I can get this final section right. 2 corners to go. We hooked up that one pretty nicely, better than the banker lap, and the last one was pretty good as well. Run to the line. How much up are we? About 6/10 on the cross line. It's going to be a 43.3, and that puts us in second place. So I was really happy with that, and nobody improved, so we are going to stay second. And you can see you've got the Bentley on the left there. We're going to see if we can try and keep with him, or maybe size up a move into turn 1. See, there's a mandatory pit stop, tyre change, and a pit window. So we're going to have to change our tyres, and hopefully we could stop then as well. And here we go, up to 43 miles an hour. Try and get as close as I can without speeding. And wait for the lights. There we go. Pretty good reaction. The Bentley on the left got a better one, arguably, and he just slots in ahead into turn 1, and it's a long race. I didn't really want to just send one, and he blocked the middle, so there wasn't really anywhere I could go anyway. So yeah, we're going to carry on behind and hope that he doesn't run away into the distance. Hopefully we can try and keep with him, but we do have the black Bentley behind, who is also looking rather quick already, as I'm trying to warm up these tyres on this first lap, as they are very cold. Brakes are up to temperature now though as well, luckily. And it's a long race, so a lot can happen. There may be not even 11 people at the end of this race. And you can see out of nowhere, the black Bentley just goes up the inside, sort of pushes me a little bit wide onto the gravel, so it's a bit of a force move. I'm really happy with it. But yeah, that's his way. You can see I'm flashing the lights. I'm a bit annoyed by that move. He's covering off. He's trying to break slipstream. I'm not really intent on going for a reply move, to be honest, because I know that the guy in the lead is just going to run away otherwise.
Car on the left.
And what did I say? Not go for a reply move. I tried to send it right around the outside. Doesn't really work. Ends up losing us a lot of time now. The Lexus is right off, but it was worth a shot. Didn't quite have the brakes on him at that time, so yeah. But it put him under a little bit of pressure. So just a little bit wide in the second S's, and now we're losing the time. But luckily, the black Bentley that just overtook us has already caught up with the Bentley in the lead, the black and green one. So hopefully, if they fight hard, I might be able to have a chance of catching up. Still only 3 minutes into this race, so we've got it all to play for. Yeah, the Lexus right behind, 7/10 behind. So if we can pull away from him, we don't really want any extra pressure at this point. But the car's feeling good. The car has a pretty good setup. I think it's pretty good for this track. It can handle those high curves quite well, especially at this chicane. So I can use all of the yellow on the curb and get away with it. So yeah, coming down the hill again, you can see they're right behind each other, but the black Bentley not quite going for a move just yet, trying to just force the move, maybe force a mistake. But it's bringing us a little bit closer. We're only 1.3 seconds behind now. It was about 1.7 at the start of this lap, so the time is coming. The time is coming to us, but not quite yet, unfortunately. So we're going to skip ahead a couple of laps to when the pit window opens now. You can see I haven't really had a chance in this first stint to get anywhere near to these top guys. Just ran away. As the gap to the leader is 5.5 seconds and about 3 seconds to the next guy. So we're going to go for a cheeky little undercut instead. See if we can get them in the pit. Just managed to not speed there, which is good. And you can see the right tyre is getting a little bit hot, so I think it's probably a very good time to pit. So I've reduced that pressure by a click and went for the best. We need to try and stop on our pit marker pretty well, so we don't lose any time. Here we go then. We stop just about in front of it, and it's just about right, so we're up.
Mandatory stop is not clear.
30-second stop go by in about a second. It's a lovely editing. And we're going to see where we come out. There's only 8 people left, but we're not going to be coming out in front of the leaders because we're a lap behind now. But it's when they go for their pit stops whether we'll see how much we've gained or lost. So yeah, doing a little bit of weaving on exit, trying to warm up those tyres early. So obviously cold weather, so it's going to take a little while for these tyres to warm up and get back to pressure. But we're going to have to go on this outlap if we want any chance of trying to beat the top 2 in the pit stop. I hope they have a bad pit stop, because our pit stop was fairly good. Yeah, it was stopped on our marks pretty well. No moving, no wasted time, so it was pretty good. So yeah, by the end of the pit window, they both boxed, and this was how close the gap was, and I just touched him because the closing speed was so much, so apologies to that guy. I guess the speed difference was just so big that it just caught me off guard, and yeah, he defended, he had the right to defend, but yeah, just a bad error by me there. It only ends up hitting us 2 seconds of damage, so hopefully it wasn't any much more than that for him either, so we can go on our way and hopefully race hard for this second place as the leader. He hasn't stopped yet, and he's looking like he's a long way ahead at the minute. He's got 2 minutes to box, so he still has enough time to stop in this race in this 10-minute pit window. 20 minutes left to go in this race. And we're going to hope for second place here. We're going to hope for a mistake from GRX in front. And this is where it happens, I believe, into the chicane. He's just going to go for a little bit of a spinalla, and grants us second place. So that was really nice. Didn't have to do any work to get second place at all. And yeah, we lost no time, and now we can hopefully chase down this leader, who is still yet to box, or maybe in the box next lap. And it's going to be very interesting to see where he comes out from his pit stop, because that will tell everything. But you can see by the end of the race, we just had nothing on him. The gap was about the same, and his pace was far too ridiculous. So congrats to him, very quick driver. But I was very happy with P2 there. Finished where he started, and considering the competition was very quick, I'm really happy with that. And I like these slightly longer races, although they are still probably sprints. Yeah, I like a race with a bit of strategy as well. So we're going to move on to the next race, another 45-minute race. This time at Monza, and yeah, another pretty close race. We're going to go for our quali lap, braking hard down into T1, meeting that apex, using a little bit of the inside curve to get the car rotated. He's doing very fine onto traction. Into the second chicane then. Again, meeting up with that apex fine. Maybe could have gone into first to get a bit more poke on apex, but all good, all good. Down into the Lesmos. Third gear through here just to keep this car stable. Fine second gear, makes it too twitching even. Then we have a little bit of an oversteer at the moment. Next it, third gear through here as well. Carry the speed. Keep the revs fairly high. Down towards the Scari, infamous corner. Can we get it right? We missed the apex a little bit, but it doesn't hurt us too much. Actually, we end up having a bit of a snap on exit, which ends up losing us a little bit of time. So, although this may be an improvement, there is definitely still time to find. And then up to the line here, out of Parabolica. What's it going to be? Is it going to put us on the highway? It is going to put us on the 0.5, and that was where we went. We could not improve. We did not have any time to improve. But puts us second as Bleeding Sunrise actually improves to a 48.3. So nice lap from him in the Ferrari. Ferrari is very good around this track as well. So yeah, he's definitely our main competitor here. Gonna try and have a good race with him. So I instantly realise I'm not the quickest anymore. We're going to have to go for a mega dive bomb or something up the inside to consolidate that position. So here we go then. On the start. Up to 42 miles an hour. We've got a pit window for this race. It's green. Got pin window for this race as well, so another one with a bit of strategy.
Car on the right.
And you can see we're side by side with the Ferrari. And you're going to see if we're going to try and outbrake him down into T1. We're going to brake very late, and I generally didn't think I'd get that stop, but we did just about, and we take position 1 into turn 1. I was really happy with that. Yeah, just completely caught him out on the brakes, and there we go. So you can see the gap after a lap, 0.6 of a second. Yeah, it was pretty nice, but I could clearly see this guy has pace. He's made a little mistake in his turn 1 there, going a little bit deep, so he's going to gain a bit of time from that. So the Ferrari is obviously very quick, and Bleeding Sunrise himself is very quick. So yeah, we're going to have to really work to keep our position here. Drive like hell. Down into the second chicane then. You can see he's very close on the brakes there. Get some nice traction on exit, and the gap just goes back up to about 0.6 of a second, and it sort of just went up a little bit from there. So it's 2 seconds. It's 2 seconds for about the majority of this first stint. We are going to go for a pit stop. Into the pits we must go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Into the pits. I really didn't want to speed, so I took it pretty cautiously, but you know, better be safe than sorry. Don't want a penalty. So going to go into the pits now and hope for a good stop, because with the gap being so close behind, only 2 seconds, if I lose 2 seconds in this pit stop, he is a perfect pit stop, then the lead is potentially lost for me. So let's see if we can stop on our marks. We overshoot it just a little bit, and we have to be taken back and then go up on the jacks. So that is a bit of time lost there, so hopefully that doesn't hurt us. But after the 30 seconds is done, we go out of the pit lane. Where are we going to come out? It's going to be very interesting. Bleeding Sunrise hasn't appeared yet, so he is about 60 seconds or so in front. So that's about the time lost in the pit lane. So down into turn 1. Yeah, 60 seconds we've got to gain. Don't worry, he's got a pit stop to do, so we won't have to gain all of that at once. And you can see by the time he's at the pit lane, we are just going to overtake him as he's on pit exit. So that was nice to see. He must have had about a similar stop in terms of pace for me. Maybe missed his jacks a little bit. But yeah, the gap ends up being 2.7 seconds on exit, so you've actually gained about half a second or so from when we boxed. That was a nice surprise. 19 minutes left to go in this race, and well, Bleeding Sunrise had no reply really. 9 seconds at the end of the race. He sent me a nice little message actually after the race saying congrats, and yeah, he just couldn't quite keep up. So yeah, that was nice sportsmanship from him, so cheers to him. It was a very good race. I definitely had to push to keep him behind, and then the mistakes just kept creeping in.
What a race.
Bleeding Sunrise
Bring it back home safely.
Extend the race. But yeah, we come home with the victory after all that. So that was a really nice race going into the night. But yeah, a nice little victory against the Ferrari. And there we go. 10 seconds was the gap at the end there. And yeah, so that was a nice little race. Okay, so the final race now.
Well done, mate. Personal
Going
fastest now.
to Zolder this time. No pit stop this time, just a 45-minute sprint. Flat out 45 minutes. And we're going to see what we can do here in qualifying. This is our I think that's our second lap now. So yeah, so we've already done a 29.7.
Yellow flag in sector.
And let's see if we can prove. I think this is our last lap of the session, and potentially our quickest. We've got a Bentley in front. Hopefully he doesn't hold us up through the chicane using all that inside curve. We've got to be careful there because it's very easy to launch over those curves at Zola. But we are provisional P1 at the minute, so no one has gone quicker than a 29.7 so far. But it is a very close grid. We're going to see what we can do here. We are up by a little bit, coming down into the hairpin, braking on the 100 board, hitting that apex nicely. We're going to hopefully get a little bit of a toe from the Bentley down this straight, so we're going to gain a little bit of time. Hopefully he doesn't hold us up in the chicane. Braking just after the 100 board. First gear. He doesn't hold us up, thankfully. We don't get the best exits, but it's still going to be an improvement. Where is it going to put us? It's going to have to be a 29.5. We actually only go second, so someone has gone quicker. I believe it is the guy in the Ferrari. And yeah, we end up being third after all the qualifying is finished. So the lap I thought was really good. Obviously had a bit more time in it, as the Bentley and the Ferrari went.
Green light. Go, go, go.
The Porsche, cheekily on the right, is meant to be starting in fourth, potentially behind me, but he must have sped or something. And yeah, but he gets away with it.
Clear on the right.
We managed to edge out this Ferrari on our right hand side, and thankfully don't crash into the Ferrari in front, as we were very late on brakes. I realised I haven't got my lights on, so that would help. Be able to see the cars in front of me as we race into the night here, 14 PM in game. And we have a long way to go. Wait, you can see now, lights are on. But yeah, we have a few positions to gain. That cheeky Porsche, the Ferrari and the Bentley, so we have got some work to do in this race. And I'll tell you, these guys are looking very, very, very quick. So it's going to be a difficult track. It's a very difficult track to overtake in generally, being as it is pretty narrow. It's sort of like the Monaco of ACC, I'd say. We're a little bit wide on the curve there. Couldn't quite take it flat with these cold tyres first lap. Once they're up to temperature, that corner will be near enough flat. You see, we're just about keeping up with the Ferrari here in the pack. We've broken away from the guys behind there, already 6 seconds back. And these guys in front are our main focus for sure. Keep it in second in the chicane just so we don't get any wheel spin on cold tyres, but now the tyres are pretty much up to temperature after a lap. And we're going to push and hope for some mistakes, because I think that's all that we can rely on for overtakes, is mistakes. Because it's generally pretty tricky to get an overtake done here. You can see the Porsche's already sort of losing track to the Bentley, and yeah, I think he is struggling already, so his pace for P4 is not good enough for second after that cheeky start, so he's going to go down the order by the looks at it. Ferrari looking for a move up the inside onto the chicane. Is he going to pull it off? Looks to be. He goes a little bit deep though, and he has to jump the curb. And I mean, I'm going to get a really good run, but I've got nowhere to go as the track's too narrow. The Ferrari blocks me, so I'm just going to have to hold him behind. And yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. Couldn't really get a move done. But the Porsche sort of lets off here. He can't really go round the outside, and I managed to get the position. But yeah, so we're going to get the Porsche up the inside and follow the Ferrari through. You just can't go around the outside of a corner like that. So we sneak up the inside. 40 minutes to go in this race. But after a lap or two, you can see the gap has stayed roughly the same to the Ferrari, but the Ferrari makes a little mistake here, and I don't know what he's doing, because he must have just, I don't know, tried to let me go or something. He sort of like stopped almost on corner entry, so I was a bit confused, but he left me the gap on the inside and I just took it, so free position for us. Maybe he realised that Bentley in the lead is running away, and maybe had a bit more pace at that point in the race. But with 30 minutes to go, you can see we've caught up to Bentley, who is making lots and lots of mistakes as he gets squirrely on exit from the chicane. We're going to try round the outside into the final chicane, but there's just nothing we can do there. We're just going to have to stick him behind. There's still a long way to go in this race, so there's still a chance to get the win and get P1 in this race. But it's going to be difficult, as there is really no place to overtake on this order easily. But if the Bentley continues to make mistakes, then we've definitely got a chance. Ferrari keeping up behind as well, only half a second. He is definitely not dropped back. He wants to be in this fight if me and this Bentley make a mistake as well. So yeah, 29 minutes to go in this race. And we just kind of have to keep piling on the pressure. You see the Ferrari's already 0.4 of a second now, so he's already closing the gap just a little bit into the chicane. Nice and late on the brakes, we end up catching up with the Bentley quite a lot there. 0.3 of a second now, so we're going to have to see if we can size up a move of some kind. So hopefully he makes a mistake into the chicane. And would you look at that?
Right.
What a horrible mistake that was, just over the curbs too much. And we go right round the outside of the corner. I said you can't go around the outside, but we did it. And that got us the lead so far with 28 minutes to go. Now I've got to defend my position for 28 minutes now, and that was a very daunting prospect. But yeah, by the time we have about 9 minutes to go, I managed to keep my lead, and you can see the Bentley now has a drive-through penalty, so I'm going to only guess that's for track limits. I have no warnings, so I must have picked that up from maybe those mistakes, or just generally going wide and exceeding track limits.
Be careful.
So he's not really a threat in this race at all now, and it's just a race to the last minute between me and the Ferrari. The Ferrari had some insane pace at the end of this race. I was taking it a bit more easy, just trying to keep my lead. The gap is a second, but constantly falling. We're going to little snap on exit there. Very, very scary. Almost binned on the final lap. You can see it's already 0.9 of a second, so he clearly has more pace on this last lap than me. Going to have to try and keep him behind. 0.8 now, 0.7 almost. Braking just off the 100 board for the chicane. Using all the curve. You can see it in my mirror, although it's just lights. He is there. 0.6 of a second. He is pushing. The lap drivers get out of the way, thank God. We go a little bit deep into the chicane, but don't lose too much time, although the Ferrari is much, much closer now. Gap was a second, now it's 0.3 of a second. And we're just going to have to try and fend him off. It's going to be very close to the line here, braking on the 100 board. He's closing into the hairpin. Can we keep him behind? Half a second now, so the gap has risen a little bit. But you can see it goes down on exit. Hopefully these lap cars in front don't get in the way. We've got one more corner to negotiate. We go a little bit deep there as well from the pressure. But we are just about going to keep the lead and the win here at Zolder. 0.2 of a second across the line. Incredible final lap there from the Ferrari to get that close. One more lap he probably would have had me, but we managed to keep that lead. So yeah, what an insane race. Incredible. Really, 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 really good race. 0.2 of a second there. It's probably the closest race I've ever had on ACC. To be that close after 45 minutes of racing is pretty mega. So yeah, that is pretty damn awesome. But yeah, that is it from me. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.